Sidekicks on Sports Nightly is presented by Pacesetter Soccer Club. Soccer excellence since 1980.
Welcome back to Sports Nightly. It is Wednesday night, time for Sidekicks as we break down the local soccer action. Joined now remotely by Mason Lowry and Chris Black. There was no tie in the Sylvania Northview-Southview girls game tonight, so they are going tieless in studio. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We already heard you break down the girls game. Let's talk about what happened last night in the boys game where Northview, a nice bounce-back win for the Wildcats coming off that tough loss to St. John's last week. They get the win last night over Southview on the boys' side.
Yeah, Mason, you got to call that game. That was a fun game to watch on my side. What really stood out with you in that game?
Well, I think the really important thing from Northview's perspective was not only were they coming off that loss to St. John's, but the loss to St. John's came with the loss of Jonah Meyer-Crothers, who is still in concussion protocol. He was injured at the end of the St. John's game, did not play last night. And while they did miss him at times, I don't think their attack was quite as dynamic as it normally is with him. The important thing is that even if he wasn't available to go on that right flank, you still had Tony Sajasi on the left side, and he's got the kind of power and pace and shooting ability with both feet that he can unlock a defense on his own. He was outstanding. It's any time he can go on the road in a rivalry game, and Kirk Brezzo told me afterwards he didn't think his team played particularly well. Anytime you can have maybe an off night without one of your best players and still get a win in a big rivalry, still be in the driver's seat to win a league championship, it's a testament to just how strong a program you've built and just how good your team is.
Yeah, and you're playing on their site, a little bit bigger, a little wider, grass, which is important anyways because they want to get used to that for tournament time as always. But I thought Sarcer as well was a pest.
Yes,
he was running
absolutely
around up top, putting him on a lot of pressure, and that frees up Sajasi to do even more. So that was a lot of fun to watch.
And then, gentlemen, coming up this weekend, St. John's will take on Anthony Wayne. That'll be at Leiden Field on Saturday night. And the Titans, they've done very well in the track. They're in the driver's seat there. Non-conference, they play a tough non-conference schedule, and that's maybe has hurt them a little bit, but it's also going to prepare them very well for the postseason. They'll get a good non-conference test against the Generals.
Yeah, you see what happened against St. Ignatius. I mean, everyone loses to St. Ignatius, so that's not the big surprise. But I think that first half, at least they got a goal against them to score against Iggy. Second half, they held Iggy scoreless, which was a miracle, so that's an upside, but still didn't get a good result there. Had a disappointing result against Walsh on Sunday, which I think that's a game they really felt they should have won. They need to take a look at what they do there to make sure that doesn't happen again. So what do? They go out, they get the victory against Northview, which is a big win. But going against Anthony Wayne, both these teams have been beating all the opponents they know well. So now something's got to break. Do they tie or is one kind of leap ahead in Northwest Ohio? St. John's doing well against non-conference and conference as long as they're within 100 or an hour and a half. Anthony Wayne's struggling with some crossover games, so with that loss to St. Francis, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. But you have to imagine St. John's athleticism all over the park will help them a lot against an Anthony Wayne team that's still kind of figuring out roles.
I like this matchup because St. John's really is a known quantity despite losing guys like Joey Apanunu from last year, and the list of talented players they lost is quite long. You still have Danny Salim, you still have Ian Morton-Wisgen, you still have guys that you know and you understand how they play. Cam Doyle, I think, has really improved from last year to now, someone who played kind of a subservient role last year up top, and now he's a guy that can run with the ball at his feet for a very long time. Anthony Wayne, like you said, they're still trying to find their footing. It's not easy for any coach to turn over an entire starting 11 from the previous year's team. They lost 10 seniors, and then Jacob Copley now playing football instead of soccer. I think that's a group that's kind of steadily gotten better over the course of the year, and of course, iron sharpens iron. Like you talked about, the player for me that's key for them is Jory Reese, who really has so much pace out of it. He's one of the quicker players, I think, that I've seen this year. He would honestly fit in pretty well at St. John's with guys like Doyle and Morton-Wisgen. Him on one flank and a guy like Parker Schofield on the other. Can they create enough opportunities to score a goal or two at St. John's? I like that game as a tournament tune-up for both sides.
And finally tonight, let's talk about what's going to start beginning tomorrow, Thursday, October 1st. City League Soccer returns. It's good to see those athletes get the opportunity to compete this year on the pitch as well.
Yeah, and are we going to get a Toledo Cup? I think in the past I've gotten to do the last couple. Bowser on the women's side has really held it down. The men's side finally joins it with this past year with the win. And the oddity last year was I believe the men's side was already out of the tournament, so they got to win their last game of their season, which really only 3 men's teams, 3 women's teams get to do, generally speaking. So that was fun to see, and hopefully they're able to do that again. And because we saw so much good City League soccer, we caught a couple of games together. The Wade, I think it was Wade Scott maybe that we did together.
Yes, we did.
And it was good to see that soccer last year.
I love the Toledo Cup as an event because it's kind of out of the spotlight of the district tournament. I think it usually falls maybe on district semifinal and finals weekend, and it's really well supported by the soccer community in the area. I love it, and you're right. I hope it's back this year.